Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Offside Zone. I'm your man, Flathead Willie. I got to call West Virginia's homecoming game against Cal. I got to call it live, and it was supposed to end up on YouTube for you all to hear at your leisure, but didn't work out that way. So, what's going to happen is eventually Flathead is going to call some user playoff games and really dig in here and get live and personal with these games for all you to hear on YouTube. But starting off the call on the offside zone tonight, Derek Goodspeed is leading the Hiesman Trophy watch as a junior potentially leaving. Derek Goodspeed, West Virginia Mountaineer, 99 overall quarterback. Number 15, 6'3", 208 pounds, dual threat. Junior class. As I said, hometown Miami, Florida. Derek Goodspeed is leading the Heisman watch. Freshman, true freshman, Demir Turbin, number 12 out of Penn State, is a close second. He had a pretty good game against UCLA and a win 52-14, but not enough to say it. All right. Number 81, Jashawn Kenyon, is the speedster that helps make the engine run on offense in West Virginia. Everybody knows last year's Heisman. He's fourth. Trevor Hatchett and freshman Byron Zeke from Earl, Arizona, 6'3", 218-pound dual threat quarterback. Wears number 12, 82 overall. Fifth for the Heisman. Now, down to the college football playoffs. If you take a look at the bracket, ladies and gentlemen, and this is before conference championship games, Arkansas State and Shark Davis in his third season as the head coach of the Red Wolves. Shark Davis has earned that team a first round bye. That team was good enough this year by moving to the Big 12 and changing conferences from the Sun Belt, gained itself some conference prestige, and put on a pretty good showing all year long. There's a lot of people on that team that are hungry for a national championship. Trevor Hatchett is one that is hungry to hoist the championship in Tampa. And Arkansas has one less test to get through now this year in the college football playoffs by sitting there at number 4. If they just need to win their conference championship game against TCU to remain in that bye week slot. I imagine 4 is where they'll stay. Number 1 team in the nation, Penn State Nittany Lions. Number 2 team in the nation, the one-loss Alabama Crimson Tide. And this is what I'm saying. I don't understand. Now I'm starting to think that the committee might be biased towards Derek Goodspeed, Elijah Douche, the execution that they've laid out in college football ranks. I don't know that college football, I think they're mad at the West Virginia Mountaineers because they're in the ACC. They're in the coddled division, at least so it appeared in the first few years of this coverage. One-loss ACC teams would rank ahead of West Virginia. Well, now West Virginia's in the ACC. They requested a move. Now we got a one-loss SEC team ahead of them in the college football playoffs. So anyhow, number 1, Penn State. Number 2, Alabama, which I don't agree with. It should be West Virginia with the absolute lacking of opponents that they have put on for all of us to see. They should be number 2. But number 2 is Alabama with 1 loss in the SEC. Undefeated West Virginia Mountaineers, number 3. Number 4, we talked about them, Arkansas State Red Wolves. We got conference championship games to get through. Let's look at scores and schedules. National, it's week 14. It's Army-Navy week. Let's see here. Is it on there? Scores and schedules. Let's see. Can we get to the next week, please? Conference championships. Here we go. Florida State, number 10. Florida State is set to take on West Virginia in the ACC Championship. Michigan is set to take on Penn State. What a rivalry this has become. Number 6 Michigan takes on number 1 Penn State in Indianapolis in the Big Ten Championship. And as we've reported there, Arkansas State takes on TCU in the Big 12 Conference Championship in Arlington, Texas, December 9th at 1 p.m. Through the others here, the Central USA Championship is Western Kentucky versus Liberty. Wyoming and Boise State, they're taking up the Mountain West Championship. The MAC Championship goes to Mid-Atlantic. There we go. Central Michigan, Ball State. Old Dominion and Southern Miss are holding up the Sun Belt Championship. SEC Championship is number 5, Texas versus number 2, Alabama. Florida Atlantic versus Memphis. And Florida State, as we said, versus West Virginia. Penn State at Michigan, as you see there. Big time games coming up in the college football. Top 25. Number 1, Penn State. Number 2, I don't understand, Alabama. Number 3, West Virginia. And number 4, Arkansas State Red Wolves. Players of the week. Deshaun Kenyon, 9 receptions, 372 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Moving on to the end of the season stats before we get to talking about the playoff games coming up. Arkansas State. Byron and Zeke ended the season before the conference championship games. 218 completions, 346 attempts, 63% completion percentage, 4,197 yards, and 50 touchdowns for the freshman. What a first-year campaign for him. Rushing, Byron Zeke leading the team in rushing from 237 carries, 1,666 yards, 7.0 average, and 20 touchdowns. As I said again, that's a Heisman candidate year from Byron Zeke. Trevor Hatchett continued his dominance in the receiving game with 94 receptions, 2,378 yards, and 30 touchdowns on the year. For the defensive side, Charlie Collins ends the year with 13.5 sacks. Nigel Nelson, 3.5. Ronnie McCormick had 3. Kevin Otis, defensive tackle, had 2.5. And Drew Collins off the other end had 2. Moving down the board to Penn State. Penn State stats for the year, they do close out the year with Demir Turbin, quarterback, 336 completions on 467 attempts, 71% completion percentage, 6,611 yards, and 72 touchdowns. On the rushing side of things, again, same story as Arkansas State. Demir Turbin, the quarterback, leads the team in rushing at 185 carries, 1,410 yards, 7.6 average, and 43 touchdowns. Receiving, wide receiver Lawrence Hawkins has 94 receptions on 1,765 yards and 16 touchdowns. Defense for Penn State. Left edge rusher Jalen Harvey has 15.5 sacks. Defensive tackle Liam Andrews has 9. Weak side linebacker Cameron Lindsey has 5.5. Wayne Donahue has 5. Bryce Jenkins has 3. Anthony Spica has 2. L.J. Williamson, middle linebacker, has 1. And Calvin Hunter, the free safety, has 1. And I suppose we keep going. Right edge rusher Max Granville has 1. Antoine Belgrave shorter, half a sack. Kenny Wosley Jr., half a sack. Moving on down the line to West Virginia, Mountain Mama. Number 3 team in the nation, but you know what? They got that Hiesman leading quarterback there at Goodspeed. 477 completions on 609 attempts. 78% completion percentage, 7,853 yards. 109 touchdowns. And only 8 interceptions on the year for him. Lee adds the same case for the other 2 clubs that we've covered this year. Derek Goodspeed leading all quarterbacks in rushing with 183 carries, 1,697 yards, 9.3 average, and 30 touchdowns on the year. Receiving, Jashawn Kenyon, 137 receptions, 3,482 yards, and 39 touchdowns. As far as the defensive side of the football, it is incredible in West Virginia. Nate Gabriel, defensive tackle number 69, 25.5 sacks. Ashton Woods, weak side linebacker number 33 with 21 sacks. Richard Melhoff with number 56 with 20 sacks. Daquan Muhammad, middle linebacker, 17 sacks. Defensive tackle Jadarius Luck has 12 sacks. Addison Aiken has 7.5. Peyton Morgan has 1. Lester Gilliam has 1. Zay Jennings has 1. Kevin Anger has 1. Dane McKee has 1. Cortland Renya has a half a sack. Whew, baby. That is the defensive stats, all the season stats from West Virginia. We have the college football playoff breakdown covered, the Heisman covered, conference standings, and these championship games that are coming up. That's all I got for you tonight on the Offside Zone. Have a great evening. I'm your man, Flathead Willie, and I'm out.